Hey, it's Bill Miles here, photographer, director, and creator of Visual Media Mastery. This is the place to be if you're an online entrepreneur looking to level up your video, live cast, or photography for higher engagement and higher conversions. Today's video is about planning better for your next shoot. And it doesn't really matter if it's a big shoot for a course or a sales video or a little piece of content you're going to produce for, say, Facebook or something like that. I'm going to give you some guidelines to plan better, which is going to help you engineer success into your shoot. Here's the scenario. We as entrepreneurs like to get things done. We like to check things off our list and plow forward. So you may think that you've got a little video to shoot today, and so you schedule it in your calendar, you do your other things, and then it's time for that video. Boom, you do it, check it off the list, and done. What I want you to do is step back a little bit and treat that piece of content with more importance than you might be giving it as a daily to-do. I want you to think about it with a little bit more gravitas, and you're going to get more value out of it. The first point is to make sure your message that you're going to deliver is on point. So again, it doesn't matter the scale of this piece of content that you're going to film. Always go back and think about your avatar. I want you to know who your avatar is. Who is that audience? What are their pain points? I want you to be very clear about what you want this piece of content that you're going to film to do for them. How is it going to serve them? When you are crystal clear about how you are intending that this piece of content will impact them, you're going to deliver a message that's on point to serve them. And when you do that, your engagement goes up, your conversions go up. That's what this is all about, right? Even if it's a little social media piece intended to inspire them, intended to give them a little cooking tip, or whatever the case may be, there is a purpose that you're creating this content. So big or small, give it the weight that it needs, give it the importance it needs. All right, the second tip is to consider more applications that you can have for this piece of content that you're creating. So again, even if it's a short piece, think about how else you might use this piece of content. Maybe you want to make it a little bit longer so that you can cut it up. I'll give you an example. Maybe you're doing a training, right? And you're creating a 20-minute module or something like that. Think about how you might parse that piece of content up into little mini trainings that you can put out on social media. Here's another example. Maybe you're doing a short little social media piece, but if you were to extend it, say you're in the cooking space and you're creating a little thing on a particular recipe. But if you then extend your shoot to also include another aspect of it, like another recipe, for example, instead of just the one, and so that you're actually batching content, you can get a lot more out of your shoot that way. My recommendation is that you actually give this some thought and write down a shot list. Write down things you'd like to accomplish out of the shoot, because as you start putting pencil to paper and writing these ideas, more ideas are going to flow, right? And so again, even if it's a short shoot, you will get more out of it than you had imagined. And that's going to make it all the more successful and more engaging, higher converting, and that's the whole purpose. The next thing I'd like you to think about is the location that you're shooting in. The location you pick is your opportunity to reinforce your personality, your credibility, and your authority in the topic that you're going to be talking about. So while it's easy to think, well, I'll just sit here in front of my desk, that might not be the best place for you. If you're an artist and you're teaching people how to practice their craft of painting or sculpting or whatever it may be, obviously get them into an inspired environment where they can see all the tools of the trade and the beautiful light that plays and so forth. If you're a doctor and you have a special program or special health regimen, present it in an environment that's suitably clinical. Maybe you want to make sure that you have your degrees and certifications up behind you, or you have other props around the location that kind of speak to your authority and credibility. The visual communication is a secondary reinforcement of everything that you have to say. So I want you to think about it intentionally. Now, of course, there are certain logistics, and you may not want to rent a whole studio or environment for what will be a 1-minute video. But just give thought to where can you make this feel more appropriate? How can you style the props? What can be in the shot and what is not in the frame so that it supports your message? It's also very important to be aware of the sound qualities of the environment that you're choosing. Sound quality is super important when you're creating video. You've heard this before, that sound can be half of the value of a video or a film, for that matter. Sometimes it's even more than that. People have a high tolerance for video footage that may be imperfect, but they have a very low tolerance for sound quality that's imperfect. It doesn't mean it has to be audiophile quality. It just has to be clean and clear and easy to hear you. So if you're picking some place where there's construction going on, or another group of people on the other side of the wall, or dogs barking, or traffic patterns coming in and out of the house, whatever it is, you have to make sure you have a sound dampened environment to the best of your abilities. So just to wrap it up, wanting to help you plan a better shoot at any scale, big or small, 3 points. 1, make sure that your message is on target, that you've given proper thought to your avatar, your audience, and what it is you want to communicate, what action you want them to take from this piece of content, however big, however small the content is. 2nd point, imagine additional applications for this media. Think about how else you can use this piece of content. Maybe you can take advantage of this time to shoot something else at the same time. So you've got now 2 pieces of content during the same window of shooting, or 3 or 4. That's called batching. Or conversely, if you're shooting something longer, like a piece of training, think about how you can parse it into smaller pieces that maybe you can use for social media or other applications. And then lastly, be intentional about the location that you choose. Remember that the location and everything in that frame speaks and reinforces to your credibility and your personality. So make sure you give thought to what's in it visually and also the sound qualities that may impact your video. That's it. I hope this served you and look forward to seeing you in the next video. Thanks.